Sushi is a meal that appeals to the discriminating palate, but it had very rudimentary beginnings. The first sushi was actually a form of food preservation. Salted fish was covered in cooked rice and left to ferment for months and even years. The rice was then thrown away and the fish consumed. Fresh sushi is an invention that's only about 100 years old, when the Japanese realized that cooked rice could be eaten instead of just being used as a food preservative. Rice may be an important part of sushi depending on who you ask. Only short or medium grain rice is used, because grains that are too long can uncomfortably poke customers in the cervix. First, the chef swishes the rice around in some water to thoroughly clean the rice grains. After draining, the rice is now ready to use, but pickier chefs insist on washing the rice a second time. The chef that we hired for this segment insisted he immediately wash the rice using his bare hands for hours. We're not sure if this is correct, but he's the chef and we're not. After a final molesting of the rice, it's time for one last washing under a tap water sink to reintroduce impurities, helping to flavor the rice. The rice is then washed in an equal amount of water, and since its 21st wash makes it old enough to drink, it's given some sake to celebrate. Beef jerky is soaked in beef piss overnight, providing both an appetizer and handy rice additive. In a desperate bid to be edgier to gain a PG-13 rating, the rice is given a Golden Corral shower, followed by multiple firm butt smacks. And then a little bit of sushi dom play. The mystery ingredient in most sushi is fish. Sometimes inventive chefs will substitute it for raw beef, pork, or chicken. First, the chef lifts the gills to, oh my. Are we allowed to show this on TV? Well, I guess we are rated PG-13 now. This fish sees all of your sins, and that's why he died. The fish is tickled to make sure it's dead. If there's any doubt it's still alive, the chef whips out the Fish Fucker 5000. Next, the chef's knife is imbued with the kanji for sea life and genocide, giving the chef +5 strength when cleaving seafood. Be sure to check that your sushi chef is Japanese, because let's be honest, you're just a little bit racist, aren't you? The head is put to the side as a warning for the others as the body is filleted. Now, using the Jeffrey Dahmer method, the skin is carved away from the flesh. This can also be done with a stabbing motion, known as the O.J. Simpson method. Tweezers are used to extract any small bones, blubberies, fish penises, and finstrels that may be left over. Slicing 90% of the time into the fish and 10% of the time into his own fingers, the chef cuts across the grain to create smooth, unbroken pieces of fish and fingerprints. Some chefs choose to remove the plastic wrap from their fish before cutting, but this is optional. Stacking the slices separately helps maintain their texture, but piling them together is a Japanese custom that tells the customer you think they're ugly. Remember this fact the next time you go out for sushi. The red gelatin prepared for dessert has finally settled in the fridge, so now it's time to slice that up as well. Don't forget to continue checking that— hey, wait a minute! I knew I recognized him! That's Peter! It's Peter Yamaguchi! No wonder he excessively handles all this rice and fish with his bare hands. Good job on the promotion, Peter! Spring onions provide the Japanese equivalent of filling up on bread rolls, saving the restaurant money in the long run. Water is mixed with wasabi powder to make wasabi paste, the evolved form of wasabi powder. If this paste comes in contact with a leaf stone, it will become its final evolved form, broccoli. There's more sushi to come after this word from our sponsors. Hi, I'm Huggbees, and I know 3 things and 3 things alone in life. 1. How to soothe a tiger into a false sense of security using only song. 2. How to plummet a Fortune 500 company into bankruptcy using only my wits. And 3. How to get restaurant-quality meals at home using only Factor. Factor is a ready-to-eat meal service that will let you look Julia Child straight in the eye and tell her to kiss your ass because you're eating fresh, never-frozen, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals in just 2 minutes. What do you mean Julia Childs died in 2004? Fill your fridge with an amazing selection of entrees and then continue stuffing your gullet with Factor's other fine offerings such as breakfast, snacks, and beverages. I may be a little fancy overhype boy right now talking about this company, but that's because there's this weird thing that happens every now and then, every millennia, once in a generation, called truth in advertising. I've been using Factor since September of 2023. Oops! I accidentally dropped the first page of my account's order history on the screen right now to prove that I'm not bullshitting you. And then I actually like and regularly use Factor. Isn't that weird how sometimes products you hear about online are kinda great? What, you still don't believe me? Here, I set up my tripod so that I can show you live on camera that I'll chow down on a smoothie and Factor meal in chicken piccata and mango flavor. The smoothie is mango. I'm not the most adept at making mukbang content, but I'm going to insert some stock audio of a crowd cheering me on as I take my first bite so that I can convince you that millions of people agree with my assessment that Factor is delicious. Here we go! That was really good. Look, even I'm a 5-star Michelin chef, as everyone knows, and I think Factor meals are good. I'm also a multi-millionaire making millions of dollars every week. The most important thing to me is convenience. Don't you want to live like me? You're already watching my videos, so you're halfway to infinite happiness. Take another step toward perpetual bliss by trying Factor, and eat your food with the soothing thoughts of your food coming from a company that offsets 100% of delivery emissions and sources 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices. Until we finally get our shit together and tame Mars like the naughty space slut that it is, we're stuck here on Earth. So let's not waste our time with yucky food or companies that don't work for the environment. Let's just all start eating Factor. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code Huggbees50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code Huggbees50 at factor75.com to get 50% off of your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. Factor, it's food and you can eat it. Once a simple food sold by Japanese street vendors, sushi has gone uptown. Today, skilled chefs produce bite-sized morsels with gastronomic artistry, a blend of color, texture, and taste. Sushi appeals to the eye as well as the palate. The chef, unable to resist bare-handed fondling, then uses each hand to fondle the other in an incredible meta maneuver. A smidgen of wasabi goes under a snarf of fish and is impacted by a snizzle gem of rice. The hole poked in the middle is for diners to place coins in as a tip for the sushi chef. This custom is mandatory in American sushi restaurants for some stupid reason. Speed is essential when making sushi, because if the chef doesn't work quickly, the fish might die. Pickled ginger is often served because it's cheaper than throwing it out. And that's how sushi is made. Oh, I guess we're not done. Cucumber rolls, or cucumberopoly in Japanese, start with a spiral carved cucumber. Hey, camera guy, stop bothering Peter, he's concentrating. The ribbon cuts are then layered so they can be cut into thin sticks. This technique is known as sticking it to the man, named after the motto of Saigo Takamori during the Satsuma Rebellion against the Meiji government. This is roasted seaweed called roasted seaweed. Upon placing it on a bamboo mat, rice is smushed together so it sticks to the roasted seaweed. And now it's time to mix those yucky cucumber sticks in like a dog's peanut butter medicine. Do you know what rolling is? Oh, you do? Oh, good. Well, then this part should be fucking obvious, shouldn't it? And don't go making any rolling a blunt jokes. Your friends are lying to you when they say that you're funny. If the roll defecates, this handy wiping cloth is there for cleanup. The roll is sliced in half, put together, then sliced 3 more times. And the incredible delicacy of cucumbers and rice prepared in an unnecessarily elaborate way is ready. And that's how sushi is made. Wait, more really? Fine. For an inside-out roll, also known as advanced sushi, the sushi seaweed combo is flipped. Pretend I just said something hilarious about the wasabi being smeared on the seaweed as the chef layers it further with uncanned tuna and avocado. Thank you for mentioning my joke in the comments. Seriously, what is with our editor? Do we need to see the chef's jerk-off face this much? Garnish for this roll is toasted sesame seeds. But it can also include fish roe, sauces, and love notes from the chef for particularly attractive customers. Plastic wrap and a sushi mat are used to help further shape the sushi, making sure it's sushi-shaped and not dinosaur-shaped like the kids' meals. Inside Out Sushi was made in 1960s California to hide the seaweed in the rice for Westerners who didn't like seaweed, resulting in the California roll. That fact is entirely true, meaning Americans having to hide yucky food to eat it like a dog's medicine in peanut butter is an entirely accurate joke. And that's how sushi— God damn it, more? The final thing on the menu is the hand roll, also known as Shigeru Miyamoto. He presses rice into the crispy seaweed called nori, and layers the next ingredients diagonally over the rice. Wasabi, a Japanese herb called shiso, and 2 pieces of tuna. He folds the— Are you shitting me? Are you shitting— Really? You're gonna play the credits now? You're gonna play the credits now, when we still have half an episode left. You're going to play the credits right now while I'm in the middle of speaking, and we still have half the episode left to do. I understand the sushi segment was a little bit longer, but it was a 2-parter. There was a lot to talk about, and it was very interesting, but I'm not done. The episode's not done, production team. This is not when you roll the credits. Do you know when you do roll the credits? At the end of the episode. We still have 2 more segments. Oh, God. The ancient Greek poet Homer called olive oil liquid gold. And today, a little drizzle can still dazzle. Like fine wine, premium olive oil can bring a complexity of flavors to the table and create a real taste sensation. The roots of the olive tree stretch far into the past, leading to generations of diversification and varieties. Here are 3 types of olives, and the 3 types of olive resin that they will eventually produce. In the times of ancient Olympia, named for the Italian word for olives, olive oil was also used to fuel lamps and given away as trophies in strong boy competitions. When green olives turn a vibrant red, they're ripe and ready to be harvested by the Scuttlebug 5000. The Scuttlebug 5000, which also doubles as an inmate torture device, shakes the olives from their branches. The Super Olive Brothers collect the olives in nets placed below the trees, and Peter makes a cameo to ensure the olives' quality. They funnel the harvested olives, many of which are disgustingly inedible green olives, into a collection bin. The olive sinkhole swallows the olives to both an early death and a bath of clean water. A reverse enema tube diarrheas the olives out onto a conveyor belt, which vibrates purely for her pleasure. And for his pleasure? Well, he can have these leaves and twigs, I guess. The clean olives are now overjoyed to merrily bounce their fantastic little selves right into the crusher. Hey, check out this diorama I made. A motor drives 1,300-pound wheels in drift races around the newly constructed olive track. Just like in rally car racing, spectator under-wheel fatalities are just part of the sport. During this process, factory workers will often take a break by playing a game of Olio Carly. As you can see here, they're currently winning. Aw, now they're losing. A metal barbershop pole helps separate the oil from the olive paste, which in turn is extracted by this machine called the Olive Fucker 5000. Hey, check out this cool diorama I made. The Olive Fucker 5000 is so advanced we forgot how it works, so let's just move on. The oil is pumped into this container that pumps out the oil from the oil pumped into it. Meanwhile, in the company break room, the tea is almost ready. Samples of only the highest quality batches go to the testing room. There they are tested by an ordinary volunteer to help judge the general public's opinion on the current batch. First, he inhales the aroma of the oil. Hundreds of man-hours have been poured into selecting only the finest olives to make it this far. Then, he partakes in a taste test as he would a fine glass of wine. The oil this vineyard boasts is said to be some of the finest and most delectable in all the world. Oh, never mind. This oil packing coaster was created to keep its entire process automated, maintaining both superb hygiene and enough intensity to ensure guests won't want to go on anything more thrilling than Oil Packing Coaster 1. The Oil Olief Falinsing Fashine fills the cans full of olive oil. Duh, have you been paying attention? After the cans are capped, they do a double anti-Casper flip so they land ready to pack. The oil enters the bottles in a machine that could either be a filling or rinsing machine. Ah well, the world may never know. Before this soda oil conspiracy can be explored any further, the bottles are capped by a mysterious device. Okay, why is the next part of this script an explanation on how labels are all applied? I've already talked about that. How many times do I have to explain how labels are applied to bottles before you finally understand how it's made? I have already gone over that in 97 other episodes. Seriously, first you guys misplaced the credits and now the script is getting lazy, redundant, and recycled? You guys are on thin ice, I swear. A tower crane moves building materials up to construction crews working above the ground. The operator's cabin is near the top. Just above that is the jib, which hoists the load and trolleys it back and forth. The jib and cabin rotate on a turntable called a slewing platform, or slewing unit. In a funny bit of irony, the most efficient way to build a tower crane is by using existing tower cranes. Aside from old tower cranes being the perfect tool for the job, tower cranes are most often built on site to save on time and transportation costs. The way to get into and out of the control cabin is via a very long ladder climb built within the tower's frame. This crane is being disassembled for demonstration purposes. Tower cranes are built in segments held together with high-strength bolts. Segments are continually added to the cranes until they reach the height they need to be. This elevating device the workers ride on can operate backwards or forwards to help them add or remove segments as needed. A mobile crane is most often used to latch and unlatch the tower's slewing unit and base. Assembly of a new crane's tower part starts with old recycled slewing units, the first of which were handcrafted in the 1950s. First, the tower head is removed since it will be reattached once the crane is built at the proper height. This allows operators to work on the control cabin freely and in a factory setting. The rotating gears of the cabin are passed over by an automatic greasing unit to help keep them lubricated. This machine pressurizes the old cabin's internal gears to make sure they don't become loose or misaligned during the crane's intensive lifts. A worker unscrews the recycled base to ensure the gears have been correctly calibrated and are secured in place. Oil is applied to the outer screw holes for future part installations, and the base cover is hoisted into place to be screwed on later. If the internal gears are no longer viable from machine wear or corrosion, they will be removed and melted down for scrap. Meanwhile, the tower cabin moves on to the next part of the process. Workers run cabling through the cabin to enable function of its electronic systems, temporarily removing the seat to inspect that all connections are properly functional. The windows on most tower cranes are impact resistant to protect the operator from any other construction vehicles and bird collisions. After fully inspecting the window's durability, the rubber glass liner is replaced to ensure a snug fit. These giant steel gears make up the turning mechanisms of the crane body. First, holding them like a bowling ball, an operator removes guide bearings from the inside of the gears, leftovers from the manufacturing process. After checking that they'll fit properly, the gears are separated so they can be properly stacked together, and then given a full coating of grease to ensure smooth operation. A finished gear assembly looks a bit like the Roman Colosseum, with each gear mounted on top of the other. Recycle gears that require it can be reshaped and power washed to maintain their shape before being put into the finished gear assembly. Large O-rings like this will later be placed on top and bottom of the assembly to protect the gears inside. In another factory, the crane towers are sprayed over with a new coat of primer, so they can later be fully repainted in the standard safety yellow. After the primer has dried, but before the final repainting, is the perfect time to perform any touch-up welds, preserving the structural integrity of the frame. The internal ladder system is most often made by hand and attached to the tower structure after it undergoes final safety inspections. From there, any additional specialty platforms such as concrete buckets, pallet forks, or worker ride-on baskets are also welded by hand, inspected, and then attached to the crane as needed. Aside from this, there's many more parts for tower cranes being introduced every year, as construction innovation and modern building techniques continue to evolve. Okay guys, wait, can we pause for a minute? Something about that one really bothered me. Can you guys play for me the demo music track, please? You know, the demo one, yeah, the one that we use for the rough cuts for timing, not the final one, not the one that's going out, the demo one. What the? Oh my god. Okay, skip back to when the cabin control tower is moving through the factory. You son of a bitch. It was backwards. That entire segment was backwards. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Now we're lying to an international audience just for the sake of pumping out more content? I could tolerate mistakenly rolling the credits early. I was able to forgive all the recycled segments and jokes, but this crosses the line. I am not going to blatantly lie to the faces of our devoted audience who expect pure educational content. We have never once on this program shown any unfactual information, and we've meticulously background checked our scripts for accuracy. We've never even made a single joke in our 6 years of running this program, but now in a desperate bid to get clicks and views and to dodge all the false copyright claims that we get hit with all the time, we're going with this cash grab? Now I don't even know what's real anymore. We were on CNN, for God's sakes. How could all of this be fake? Is liquid black real? Is a jizz of mayonnaise an actual serving size? Just how much horse semen is in the food we eat? Because I'm starting to think it's not very much at all. Is bacon really made out of dogs? What happened to Strong Marcus? I haven't seen him in ages. Is there even such a thing as an innocent cocoa bean bag? I'm starting to suspect that they're all guilty of something. When we fired the X12 Mega Revolver, did we get a license for that? What does it matter if it's chocolate or mint? Sometimes it can be both. How do you even pronounce Worcestershire sauce anyway? You know what? I'm gonna say it. I felt bad when I yelled at those brownies. They didn't deserve it. Oh, and by the way, we did wake people up during the cheesecake episode. You know what? I quit. I fucking quit. I quit. Why don't you guys replace me? I'm done. Replace me. Go ahead. For the remainder of this show's run, I understand that this was a pilot season, a test run. How about when this fucking airs on TV, you replace me? I've heard the audition tapes. I've heard that Brooks Moore guy. He's really good. I'm sure he would love this job, and he can have it. I'm done. Bye.